Boy offers to carry man's groceries for food. You won't believe what happens next. There's an old saying that goes, "I complained about having no shoes until I met a man with no feet." How much reason there is in those words. Sometimes we're so quick to judge others that we fail to realize that there are people out there who just need someone to help point them in the right direction. A simple insignificant gesture that may not mean much to us, such as giving a $5 bill, giving a piece of the sandwich we're eating to a homeless person, or simply asking them how they're doing, could change the life of a person who is desperate and aimless in life. It's hard to happen, it's true. We live in a selfish society that seems to be more concerned with the number of views a post has on Instagram than the mental state of their loved ones. However, there is still hope, and in the current world we live in, it is more important than ever to keep our eyes and ears open to people who may be struggling around us. And this is not something that is limited to family or friends. Sometimes strangers need help too. And by giving it to them, we can change many things more than we could have imagined. Life was not easy for 16-year-old Chauncey Black, and fate dealt him cards that most of us could never imagine having to live with. Chauncey was born and raised in the city of Detroit, and although at first his life was as normal as that of other kids his age, it would soon change to become a real drama whose script seemed like something out of an Oscar-nominated Spielberg movie. A film whose ending would end up surprising them all and give them back the hope they had long lost. The boy's father abandoned him and his mother when he was only 8 years old, and since then his life has only gotten worse every day. The reason why his father decided to disappear he never knew, but imagined. His mother suffered from a strange mental illness that was gradually degenerating her, first mentally then physically. His father was never a good guy. He spent more time drinking and smoking in the bar than at home, so as soon as he could he ran away and was never heard from again. Black was a very smart boy who, despite the difficulties he faced on a daily basis, managed to get good grades, did all his homework on time, and worked hard to have a future, although he was well aware that he would probably never be able to enjoy it. At 16, Black only had his mother Barbara in the world. As his mother's illness worsened, so did her financial situation, reaching a point where it was impossible for them to pay the rent on the apartment and buy food, a difficult choice that ended up causing both of them to go days at a time with hardly anything to eat. Chauncey was starving, and his mother, although she was pretending and trying to make him believe she could cope, was also starving, and seeing her in that state was breaking his heart. The young man was desperately trying to get a job to help his mother pay the rent, pay the bills, and buy food, but his youth and non-existent work experience meant that no one wanted to hire him. Finally, driven by the desperation and hunger he felt, the teenager did the only thing he could do and went to the only place where he knew he would get the two things they needed, money and food. So he spent the afternoon at the subway entrance with a cardboard cup in his hand to get a few coins to pay for a bus ticket and head to his destination, a Kroger grocery store in an affluent neighborhood on the other side of town. Little could he have imagined that this sudden decision would lead to a chance encounter with a stranger that would end up changing his and his mother's lives forever. During the morning, Chauncey managed to scrape together enough coins to buy a bus ticket to take him to the rich part of town and then back home. His plan was to offer work in exchange for some food, and hopefully if he could get several people to say yes to him throughout the day, he'd manage to have gathered enough food for his mother and himself to have a decent dinner within weeks. When Chauncey finally arrived at the Kroger store, he didn't know where to start. The place was abuzz with people coming in and out, loaded down with bags of groceries, cars stopping for gas and coffee and cookies, and so on. It had been a long time since Black had seen so many people having a good time and enjoying life. The boy lived in one of the poorest and most remote neighborhoods in Detroit, and everyone there locked themselves in their homes as soon as the sun began to set. Seeing all these people enjoying life and so well dressed intimidated him a little, but not enough to stop trying to get food to his house. Without a second thought, Chauncey boldly approached a stranger who was walking out the supermarket door laden with several bags full of groceries, and asked him if he could carry his groceries to his car in exchange for a pack of donuts. "How about it? I'll carry all the bags to the car, and in exchange you give me one of the packages of donuts you bought. I'm hungry, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm desperate and I'll do anything to get some food for me and my mom. Will you let me help you?" Black asked in a quiet voice. The boy was not afraid to tell the truth about his situation. He had nothing left to lose and just wanted to feed himself. Shocked by Chauncey's situation, the stranger, who happened to be named Matt, took pity on him and decided to give him more than just a sugary breakfast. It was obvious to the man that the boy needed help and that he was having a really hard time. Otherwise, he wouldn't have dared to approach him like that to ask for a measly pack of donuts. How could he ignore him? "Well, of course I'll give you a pack of donuts, kid, and not only that, come with me," Matt said, smiling at him and pointing to the supermarket behind him. Black couldn't believe his luck. He had barely been there 10 minutes and already he had achieved his goal. Matt led Chauncey to the store and told him to get everything he needed for him and his mother. The Good Samaritan took it upon himself to do more than what was asked of him, filled with joy to the teenager who kept looking at him with amazed eyes. He went inside the supermarket, grabbed a cart and started filling it with all the things someone might need, including candy and sweets. Toiletries, cereal, chocolate, juice, milk, cereal bars, fruit, pizzas, bread, butter, and other staples for him and his mother. As they shopped and chatted, Matt soon discovered that Chauncey was not only hungry, but also had no cell phone, no internet, and whose only possessions at the moment were a few coins to pay for a bus pass and a very sick and hungry mother waiting for him at home. In their conversation, Black also confessed that he was an outstanding student and that he dreamed of becoming a great entrepreneur. Matt was very surprised to hear him say that. Although he has had a rough start in life and doesn't know what the future holds for him, that doesn't stop him from continuing to have big dreams, including starting a company with which he can help others in need who, like his family, are having a hard time. As they stopped and talked, the young man felt more comfortable and dared to tell the man he just met, who continued that his mother and he had been sleeping for years on mats made from old sleeping bags they'd been given, that they had no sofa, no bed of their own, and their refrigerator had been empty for so long they hadn't even bothered to open it. "I have nothing, that's the truth, but I keep dreaming of the possibility of living a good life, of finding a solution for my mother and me and fulfilling all my dreams. I don't know when it'll be, but I still have faith," the teenager confessed to Matt, his eyes full of hope. When he finished shopping, Matt offered him a ride home instead of taking the bus. The boy gladly accepted, but when they got home, neither he nor his mentally ill mother expected what this stranger would do for them. He'd give them an immense gift they would never have dared to dream of. As Matt unpacked the grocery at his front door, he could see the hope return to Chauncey's eyes. It was as if he was a normal kid again, full of dreams and excitement. Before saying goodbye, Chauncey and Matt gave each other a big hug and wished each other well. "You're a great person, Chauncey. You and your mom deserve the best of luck. Don't stop dreaming, got it? You never know when a miracle might happen," Matt told him very excitedly. "You have given me back my hope, Matt. I'll never forget this day and what you've done for me, promise," Black replied, giving him another big hug. However, that goodbye was not the end of this beautiful story that still had one more chapter left, a beautiful denouement that will bring tears to your eyes. Going one step further, after saying goodbye to Black and returning home, Matt decided to share his beautiful experience on Facebook. He wrote a beautiful post in which he gave details of how he'd helped the teenager and how good he felt to have been able to help him move on with his life and continue dreaming of a better future. "The boy and I went shopping and had a great time. We bought cereal, chips, frozen vegetables, pizzas, fruit, pasta, I don't know, a little bit of everything. I'd never done anything like that before for someone and it felt great," Matt began. "This guy's truly amazing. Chauncey was not ashamed to admit that he was very poor, but he also said that one day he'd be rich and have his own business so he could help other people in his neighborhood and buy food for them like I'd done. I was amazed. I drove him home so he didn't have to take the bus, and when we got to his house I was really humbled. He wasn't kidding when he told me they had absolutely nothing. He and his mother had nothing. They didn't even have beds, no furniture. They slept on mats made out of sleeping bags, had 2 lamps and nothing in the fridge. I felt so fortunate for the life I have and at the same time, terrible for not being able to do more for them," he concluded. But Matt's generosity wouldn't end there. As if buying food for a struggling family wasn't enough, Matt created a GoFundMe page to help raise money so that Chauncey and his mother would never go hungry again, and so that in the not-too-distant future, the young man could start his own business to help the city's neediest. After publishing the post and creating the campaign, Chauncey and his mother's moving story of overcoming the odds raised more than $340,000 in less than a week, and the number kept growing as the days went by. It was incredible. After that, Chauncey and his mother were able to start living in a house with furniture, their own beds, and a fridge full of food. They were even able to get internet and a television and computer. Their life changed completely, and it was all thanks to the generosity of Matt and the people who read his story. Probably the most remarkable aspect of this story, though, is that despite the substantial amount of money raised on his behalf and having accumulated enough funds to lead a normal, quiet life with his mother, Chauncey still felt compelled to establish his own business for self-sufficiency and to aid others. What an extraordinary teenager. Did you like this touching and surprising story? If so, we invite you to leave us a comment expressing your opinion. If you want to continue enjoying inspiring stories like this one, subscribe to our channel or check out the other videos shown at the bottom of the screen. Thank you for your cooperation.